one of those hot Brownsville days. It was a kind of a weird day today. The weather was just not cooperating with us folks that had to spend a lot of time outdoors. For some reason, it just drained you. It was that type of Brownsville heat that just physically drains you. And let me tell you, for the first time, I think that we've been out there, and it's already been a week. The first time I actually really passed out on the chair, as you noticed,
How?
someone took a picture of me out there and posted it.
Oh, I think I know who did that.
And so, an eye for an eye. So as soon as someone was out there smelling their armpit, I made sure to snap a picture as well. But it was just a tiring day. But let me tell you, well worth it. We'll talk a little bit about it towards the end, and we don't want to bore Dr. Sabina with all the mushy details. But it was a fun day, and we do have the honor of having Dr. Teresa Saavedra with us today. Doctor, how you doing, Doctor?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Life is good. We're working hard, trying to get clinics together, things together, but working hard and getting a lot of good feedback on things we can do to get the clinic to start. But yeah, everything's going along well, and we're excited about opening. So just as you guys are excited about D-Day, or maybe it's V-Day, voting day.
In the voting day, yes. Let me tell you, it is. I guess we have we all have something close at hand to look very forward to. So, and I know that I think one thing that we share in regards to y'all's grand opening of y'all's center here and our election day is that I think that the community is even excited for both, for
Yes,
today and for the
excited.
community. So they,
Well, and it's what, November 2nd or November 3rd, I
third,
think.
third.
Third. My son's birthday actually is November 2nd, Alessandro. So it's even more special for me because that week we're also celebrating my son's third birthday. So that'll be also exciting. But there's a lot of celebration to be had this first week in November coming up. We're looking forward. So yay.
That's awesome. Frankie, how you doing, Frankie?
Good evening, Doctor. How's it going? You've been missed. Hello, Erasmo. Hello, world. Happy Monday. For whatever reason, the Cowboys can't get it together. I think every week is going to be better, but unfortunately, they always disappoint. It's been a great Monday, day 7 of early voting in the books. It's awesome. It's great. It's great to have the camaraderie, the fellowship that we have out there with the different candidates. I was thinking right now we have Coach, we have Marisa, we have Argelia Miller, Vito, and they're in the same in our camp, and they're laughing, and we're taking pictures, and it's a great atmosphere. I'm so glad to be a part of this election. We have great candidates in our camp that really do want to make a difference. We have seen how they have put their race aside, and may the best person win. And I think that is what the community is in need of: individuals that are willing to put their egos aside, and we all want to be that person that serves the district. But it's very remarkable, guys, whenever we have candidates building that camaraderie, laughing, taking pictures, joking. It just makes the day go by a lot more smoother. But all in all, it was a great Monday. Hoping for an even better Tuesday tomorrow. So I'm super excited to have Dr. Teresa Saavedra back here with us.
Oh, thanks, Frankie. And again,
Thank you.
what Frankie mentioned is very true. It is, really exciting. Really exciting is to see individuals, having fellowship out there and having a great old time. We wish that all candidates were of like mind we wish that all candidates out there were having a great time. All candidates would want to, you know, put the campaign aside for those moments and break bread, have some laughs, and doesn't matter that we're running against each other. The campaign is over, guys. For some reason, a lot of the individuals out there, and I will say, like my opponent is one of them. Frankie's opponent is also. They just think that we're still duking it out, and it's done. It's over, guys. All we do out there right now, guys, is be cheerleaders for individuals and encourage people to come out and vote, come out and vote, come out and vote. That's what my posts are about. It's just come out and vote. Now, there's one of again, you have to understand, guys, that if we go after, and again, this is something that little Eddie has not understood. If we go after the individuals that are currently sitting on the school board, is because they are elected officials, well, except little Eddie, he was appointed, but they are in seats that belong to elected officials. And because of that, they are currently making decisions that impact the lives of the individuals that they were placed there to represent. So I'm sorry, guys, that part is not going to stop. We're still going to continue to question any decisions that y'all make during early voting that continue to place what we believe is our people's life, well-being in harm's way. It's just that simple, guys. It's nothing personal, little Eddie. Nothing personal, then Minerva. Nothing personal, Philip Cowan. It isn't. It's just you're in the seat. And again, because you're in the seat, you are there to answer questions from the community. But one of the things that we will talk about towards the end, because I am going to give Dr. Saveda the option to bow out when we start talking about uh, the court date starting next Monday. Court date for Dr. Sylvia Atkinson begins on the 26th. And we're going to speak about that towards the end of the show because I am going to give the doctor the option of staying on and giving her take on it, or deciding not to. But another thing that's happening on Monday is that uh, um, well, might happen today. Doctor, can you clear us up? I read that the Texas Department of State Health Services unveiled its plan for COVID-19 vaccine distribution. Is it next Monday or is it today, this Monday?
That was today. That was today. The biggest news coming around town. I got some things from the society, from the, I guess, Cameron, Willesee, and Hidalgo societies, for medical societies, from the executive director, Javier Vasquez. I love him. Hi, Javier, if you're out there listening. It was information about coronavirus and how the coronavirus vaccination is going to be distributed. So the biggest issue is, who is it going to go to? How is it going to get there? What is this vaccine? What are the big players? There's quite a few questions that go into it. And the first thing is, there's 6 different vaccinations. Most of them are 2-shot vaccinations. There's only one that's a 1-shot wonder. That's the Johnson & Johnson product. Most of them are 2 shots. Then they're going to be given over a series of first time, and then the second one is a 3 to 4 weeks afterwards. Thank you for that. So you'll see that the Johnson & Johnson product is the non-replicating, with just one. And you see, like, just the complications on how to storage and handle them. There's been a lot of discussion with the pharmacists and the physicians and all of the scientists on exactly how to store and handle these vaccinations. There's a lot that goes into it behind the scenes on storing and handling vaccinations. There's a lot of certifications that go into all of us being able to understand how to handle, just to be able to deliver it to our patients' bodies. So we do prepare well in advance for that. But as you see, there's the Moderna product. There's 2 mRNA, 2 recombinants and then the 2 non-replicating vector viruses. And, most of them will be the 2 steps. So those are important to know, because we need to know how often to give them, when our patients need to come back. Also, we need to know things such as what happens if a patient has a reaction. Because some people are going to say, yes, give it to me right away. Some people are going to say, you won't catch me dead in your office trying to get it, Dr. Saavedra. I don't want it. And then there's going to be some skeptical people that we're going to have to inform. But I do want every person in the community right now to know that regardless of who gets it, if there's any reaction, we have to report every single person that will be able to get that vaccination to the state. And any vaccination reactions, we also have to report. So they're taking it very, very seriously. It's not just something that we're, kind of taking nonchalantly. It is a very serious matter, because we do want to make sure to report any adverse event. There's a specific federal guided vaccination adverse reaction type of program that we do have to report to nationally in order to make sure we meet guidelines and requirements with that vaccination. So that's also very important to know. The next question to know is, well, who's going to get it? And that's what we talked about today. This is what they enrolled with the State Department of Health. So who's going to get it first, and most of you will probably be of no shock, is all the frontline workers, our ER workers, our EMS, and the like. Those that are getting hard hit right now on the front lines, in the hospitals, on the ground with the patients that are crashing, that are needing to be taken en route to the hospital. So those people are the most vulnerable populations. Next being other healthcare workers like myself and my colleagues in practices that are also seeing patients as well that are potential coronavirus cases. So all of healthcare will be vaccinated first because we do see so much. Next, after that, is going to be your vulnerable populations. The people that are at high risk for getting the coronavirus with special conditions, that are immunocompromised. The 65 and older community is also going to get that vaccine secondly. I should say also that healthcare workers are going to be getting them in November, December, and January through June. It's going to be the vulnerable populations. So aside from the 65 and the vulnerable populations, there's also going to be rural communities. Now, one thing I wanted to share with everybody is that most of our counties in the RGV, the Hidalgo and Cameron counties, are not considered rural counties. The county that is in our area is Willacy County. It's considered rural. So I had to look this up. I really didn't know this information. I thought maybe all of us were rural, but according to the state of Texas, it depends on who you talk to. If you talk to one group, they say it's less than 10,000. I think if you talk to the Department of Agriculture, they say it's less than 150,000. But the state of Texas itself says that our county and Hidalgo aren't considered rural. Sorry, guys. So Willacy may be getting the vaccinations before Cameron and Hidalgo get them. But that's who will get those next. And then over the summer is when I believe it'll roll out to the rest of the communities. So we may not see them community-wide until next June, July time. Now, they're going to be distributing it somewhere, but they're also going to be distributing it to hospitals first, and to assisted living facilities would be next, and elderly care places. So those are going to be some of the biggest distribution areas that are going to be receiving the coronavirus. So we'll see those individuals getting taken care of so that they don't get the virus. But as I said, we do need to be aware, and some people will choose to get the vaccination, some will not. It is a personal choice. I don't know that there's a right or a wrong. For my bias, me being in healthcare, of course, I want all of my patients to get vaccinated, but I do know it's a very personal choice. Some people may be very passionately against vaccination. We can look into and, of course, entertain questions on how these vaccinations are made. Of course, depending on which one we do get received, because they are coming down the pike. There's plenty of those in phase 3 trials. Some of them are still in phase 2 and such. We're going to have to get acclimated with this new vaccination. So do bear with us as we in healthcare are trying to serve you the best, but we will be excellent in delivering those to you. So, but if you decide not to get the vaccination, I'm not going to, judge, but do still stay safe. Keep wearing your masks, keep washing your hands, socially distance, do the things that we are typically doing, so that we can all at least, continue to stay safe. Just so you gentlemen know, there are increase in the last 2 weeks by 25% in the RGV on coronavirus. So it is not gone, friends. It is not gone. So please be safe. Do not stop socially distancing. Don't stop washing your hands. Do the things that we've been talking about all these times I come on to visit with you guys. It's kind of, we're getting into a lull. It's October. We haven't gotten this giant influx of more coronavirus like we thought we might. But that doesn't mean we should get sloppy or get relaxed. We really have to be vigilant and make sure that we are continuing to be mindful of how we go about our days and to do things intentionally.
Well, see, that I think that's the problem, Dr. Savannah. The problem is that because everything seems to be opening up. There's individuals are being brought into our campuses more and more. Teachers are being forced to come onto campuses. As David Castro mentions, tomorrow principals will be having a meeting. All the principals will be going to one high school, going to meet. I think they're all going to meet at at the cafeteria. And I think what's happening is that individuals are trying to fall into that lull that everything's okay, and I think it sends a very very bad message to the people, because then people go, well, everything's opening up already, then we don't have to wear our face coverings. We could have our little parties where we have like 30 or 40 people out there. No social distancing, no face coverings, no hand sanitizer. So I think it people start to fall in that lull, and I blame a lot of it on our culture. Our culture is just like that, Ah, me que te valga, no hombre, ya, ¿qué pasó? It's already gone, and I think individuals are getting mixed signals in regards to it.
Sure. That's a good point that you make. I know there's a lot of opinions that are running out about whether the virus is still present or whether it's not. Let me tell you from my experience, I had gotten a few just today of people that I am like 100% certain that'll test positive. They had lost a sense of taste. They have lost a sense of smell. Hi, Frank. So those people are definitely going to test positive. If you lose your sense of taste, you lose your sense of smell, the likelihood you have coronavirus is almost certain. So please, if you have one of those symptoms, please don't pretend that you don't notice. Go get tested. Just so everyone knows, because we're still I'm still getting training all the time, going through Johns Hopkins contact tracing courses so that we can better serve. And through Johns Hopkins, they say that you are infectious 2 days before you ever show symptoms. 2 days prior, before you ever show anything. So you're hanging around with your friends, chilling, relaxing, being cool, no face mask. And 2 days later, you start becoming symptomatic with what may sound like an allergy or a little cough or a tickle in the throat. And boom, you've already infected a lot of your friends or family, and that's how it starts. So do be aware that it is still present. I still see it daily on our in our clinics right now, and we do need to be careful and keep our minds straight when it comes to this virus. It is not something to play with.
Doctor, um, we heard Governor Abbott speak recently regarding the Rio Grande Valley being a hotspot. We just got the bars opening up at 50%. What's your take on that? What has changed from when Dr.
Dr.
Abbott
Abbott.
declared the RGV a hotspot to Dr.
Dr. Abbott.
Governor Abbott? What did I say? Uh, Governor Abbott. I apologize. Governor Abbott. What has changed since Governor Abbott declared the RGV a hotspot to recently, yesterday, day before yesterday, when they started opening up the bars to 50%? And are you concerned?
To say I'm concerned is an understatement, because in bars, and it's not that I don't want people to have fun and to be able to relax and to get out and to enjoy, because I do see the emotional impact of this pandemic on our people, our society, and it's devastating. The anxiety and the fear and the depression and the isolation it drives is very harmful for us individually and as groups. But what's more harmful is when you put a particular group of people together and you allow alcohol to mix through that, and then things get a little crazy and people just forget and get disinhibited. So that's where I get a little concerned, because that's, it's like putting, a bunch of little children in a room together and just, hoping for the best, because we just lose our minds about things and start doing fun stuff and hanging out and having parties, but then we don't wear masks, and just things just start. And you'd hope it's in an open environment and in South Padre where the air is nice and clear, but sometimes it's an enclosed space and it just could infect the entire room. So with that thought, I cringe. Now, to answer your question, Governor Abbott, when he talked about us being a hotspot, we were at the height. This was during the summer, maybe July, I would say, June, July, where we're at the height of getting the cases, where the hospitals were very full for the RGV. We became such a hotspot, and we saw quite a few, family members, friends of family, and such that they succumbed to the disease or got extremely sick and are still at this point recovering with post-COVID syndrome. So, we wish those people that are still recovering well. Thank God, many of my patients that did have that post-viral syndrome are recovering, thankfully. But, there are still some that are definitely still on the road to recovery. So, but now, because that number, the hospitals aren't quite so full like they used to be. Again, that comfort level has gotten to be a little bit higher, and we have to just continue to keep good judgment, and not allow ourselves to say like, oh, well, the numbers are low, that means we're good. Because when the numbers go low and we start coming out a little too much, and then we get a little too relaxed, it'll potentially drive that number up again. And we don't know during the winter time with the flu. And I mean, I am seeing, just as an aside, people are getting their flu vaccinations in record numbers. People that would literally never get their flu vaccine.
Well, let me say that um, I think what the comment that was made if I'm not mistaken, like almost a month ago. Uh, but and the term that the governor used was a danger zone, and
Okay.
we are in a danger zone, unlike other areas in the state where they were allowed to open up a little bit more than we were. And I think that's where part of again, going back into the confusion of a lot of individuals who start to think, well, everything's okay now because 4 weeks ago, now I'm saying Dr. Abbott. 4 weeks ago, Governor Abbott made mention that we were Laredo, Rio Grande Valley, and Victoria were danger zones. So I think that's kind of it's kind of like a lot of the decisions that our district is making. It just throws it back and forth, and it just causes a lot of confusion in individuals. But doctor, in regards to the vaccine, do you say vaccine is safe, and what side effects should people look out for when the vaccine is taken?
Um, we hope that the vaccine is safe. We know that they're going, I mean, it's called Operation Warp Speed. So this is an unprecedented amount of effort that has gone in, but it is happening at a lightning speed, literally. So they do the best they can in the United States, the vaccine makers, the virologists, to keep us as safe as possible, and know that I think all eyes are looking to our virologists, our scientists, our drug companies that are on those front lines of vaccine making to see how they're doing the making of those vaccines. And I know there's a lot of scrutiny. I mean, I'm sure if I were an executive at GlaxoSmithKline right now, I would be sweating bullets. It's not easy to be in their shoes right now because, I mean, everybody's looking for them to produce, but to produce safely. And that's not necessarily an easy thing to do. I mean, we're compressing things that sometimes take 5 years. I mean, sometimes it takes up to 10 years for a drug that starts in the phase 1 to actually get out to production. So we're taking a process that could be a decade long on certain drugs. Now vaccinations, I'm not sure. Drugs definitely 10 years, but vaccinations I've heard at least 2 years and perhaps more. But you're taking quite a bit of time and you're compressing it into months, because literally coronavirus, we didn't start moving on it. We heard about it in China in December. We got it into the United States where we started moving and saying, hey, this is real. This is where we're at in March, in early mid-March. So we're on maybe month 7 at this point. So this is where we're at right now. That we want to make sure that we do well. And as far as safety, I think if they're making as safe as a product as they possibly can, knowing that there's still going to be risk involved because they're doing it at such a breakneck speed. So there is a certain level of risk that they're taking to try to get that product out to us quickly. But again, I don't think that they're compromising what they can do in order to get us a substandard product. I know that's for sure, because I don't think America would ever do that. I don't think the United States is like that. But I do know that there's things that they're having to deal with. I'm sure challenges they have to make just even getting the vaccine produced, on how they're going to get enough of product to make it. So as far as side effects go, I would assume there's typical reactions that we should all expect. There may be a reaction to the site of the area where you get the vaccine. Site reactions to vaccinations are extremely common, easy to get. You would just take an ibuprofen or a Tylenol. Fevers you could get, feeling a little down the day you get the vaccine. I mean, any parent usually knows that their kid may be a little bit down the day they get a vaccination, because your immune system is mounting a response because it's recognizing a typically dead shell of a virus, and your immune system recognizes it, mounts a response, so that the next time your body sees it, it will mount an even quicker response that takes even less time for your body to attack and destroy. And that is the amazingness of our human body. So I definitely think we're going to get those, simple things. The things that most of us are scared of are the things that aren't really common. One case in point, and this is extremely, extremely rare, but Guillain-Barré. It's a disease that's in ascending paralysis, ascending weakness that happens, that I actually got to see as a medical student. I was still in medical school when I get into my clinical rotations, and got to see on third year, and saw somebody that had a viral infection in their stomach and ended up with ascending paralysis that stopped their diaphragm. Our diaphragms are breathing muscles, so they ended up on a ventilator. that's the worst it could be, and that's unfortunate. Does that happen? It is like 1 in 1,000,000. It's even less than that, I'm sure. And I don't know the actual number off the top of my head, but that person I know didn't have a vaccine that caused that. Can a vaccine cause it? Yes. Is it common? Absolutely not. I think in all of my clinical practice, I have met one person that had a vaccine reaction that was in a wheelchair from it, that had been ill affected by it. And I'd heard of another little girl that I think passed from it. But is it common? Absolutely not. And I don't know which vaccines those were.
That disease that you mentioned was the one that Joe Valdez had. That what Greg Bar.
Guillain-Barré. It's actually a French word. I forget who it's named after. Of course, everything in medicine is named after someone pretty famous that did something important, but I don't know the story behind Guillain-Barré. But what it is that it's a ascending paralysis of the upper and lower body, and it goes up your body slowly, so your legs are weak, your arms are weak, but then as it gets to your diaphragm, your breathing muscle, when you get that paralyzed, you can't breathe. And if it's not recognized, then of course you pass, because, well, we all have to breathe. So they have to actually recognize it before it gets to that point, or you perish. So it's a pretty serious one. There's also ascending transmyelitis, things that have attacked the nervous system. But again, very, very rare, very uncommon, very unlikely to happen. And I think I've met one person that had ascending transmyelitis as a resident, but I don't think she got it from a vaccine. So,
Going to Lucy's question was something that I was wondering: will masks be required after the vaccine has been distributed, has been taken?
I would say yes, because until we know how the vaccine is going to assist us, and of course we need the epidemiologists and the infectious disease specialists to weigh in on it. And we don't know how soon all of the community will get vaccinated. We can't assume everyone else has been vaccinated. We can't. We can assume, yes, healthcare workers will be vaccinated, so we won't be giving it to our patients. We'll assume that certain populations are going to be getting it, but not all populations will get it at the same time. So we do have to be patient and allow time to progress, and just be cool and wear a fashion mask, and rock it if you can. Buy different colors for now, and let's wear a different one every day if we can, so we can just have some fun with it while we're still trying to figure out when we can have a ditch party and toss the mask and put it in a bonfire. So
Doctor, you previously spoke about the rush of this drug occurring in over a year, when it usually takes 10 or more years to be produced. We do have the talk of the second wave coming. It's already happening in Europe, and we anticipate it hitting the United States. With the uncertainty of this drug, would you encourage us to take it if it's available, knowing that we could possibly get another second wave?
yes, I would definitely get some immunity to the virus is better than no immunity. So once your body sees a virus that it already recognizes, it mounts a faster response with the immune system attacking quickly, and you get a quicker way of dealing with that virus and hopefully killing it altogether. So I always tell my patients, some immunity is better than no immunity, even though we all know that the flu every season is different and it has to be remade every year, because similar to coronavirus, the flu is very intelligent and it does mutate. So the virologists have their work cut out for them, but you would rather have some immunity to the influenza virus rather than zero immunity at all. It just isn't smart to kind of, it's like, being completely naked. You're out allowing yourself not to have any protection whatsoever. So I know that it's a little scary because these times right now, we don't know what will happen. And I know that, if you look into history, some people that are vaccine, naysayers will, kind of quote the polio virus. And when that first came out and the, few hundred children and young adults that either perished or got severely injured and paralyzed from polio virus when it wasn't appropriately made. That was where we as a country were able to say, hey, we need a better system in place on how to make vaccines safe. That's why there's such stringent requirements now, because of accidents like that happened in the 40s and 50s. I think it was 50s. So those people, that accident didn't go unnoticed, and we learned from it. So I'm so glad that we capture history and we do take it to heart, so that we don't make the same mistakes as we did before. So these stringent requirements we see now absolutely had something to do with the polio vaccine that many young individuals either died or got a severe polio virus from, where they were not able to walk again.
So, how many strains are there?
There are 6 different vaccinations. I'm not sure how many strains of the coronavirus itself are now. I have to look back into that. I'm not sure, Brandon. I'm sorry. It's a great question. I'm not sure.
Good. Are you a general doctor, Dr. Saavedra?
I'm a family medicine and neuromusculoskeletal medicine physician.
Awesome.
I'm an osteopath, DO baby, all the way. For any of you that don't know osteopathic physicians, here I am. Hi.
Si quema, Erasmo. Si quema. It quema, but I'm going to get a better one that quemas mejor. How much will the vaccine cost? And I'll ask this because one of the things that President Trump did come out and say was that they were going to provide the vaccines to anyone in the country at no cost whatsoever. Is that going to be feasible? Is that going to be real?
I think for the safety of and health of the United States, it has to be. We have to afford it. I mean, President Trump's absolutely right. He knows that until we all know it's safe, none of us are really going to want to come out full force and go back to our work, go back to living life to the fullest until we know that there's safety out there. So in order for us to get back to the kind of economy we had, the workforce we had, the ability to buy, trade, spend, sell, we absolutely need that free vaccine for all. So we have to afford it. I mean, if the United States has to get into debt and to afford it for the rest of the community, then that's what needs to happen. So I'm sure we'll do just that.
What's your take on talking about President Trump? What's your take on President Trump being diagnosed as positive, and then all of a sudden, after 4 or 5 days, healthy as an ox?
I think President Trump, even though he is older, has an excellent medical care team, and I think he has access to medications that maybe some of us may not be able to afford. I mean, he donates his entire salary every not semester, but every quarter to a different cause, because he obviously doesn't need to have the president's salary. He has his own money, but I think he has the ability to make choices that many of us may not be able to. I'm not saying that as a knock. I mean, it's great that he's able to make that decision as he wants to. But he has access to excellent doctors, excellent opportunities, maybe experimental drugs that maybe we as people may not be able to have. So, but even with all that, maybe he didn't choose some of that, and he still would have done well, because we won't ever know. I mean, he did receive different medications, but he may not have needed any of that. I actually spoke to a lady today, believe it or not, in her mid-40s, who diabetic, who got their coronavirus and did get sick, was in the hospital. Her sweet 93-year-old mother got coronavirus. asymptomatic, no symptoms, nada, nada. She didn't have a thing. 93, and I was like, oh my God, I love this story. Why? Because every 65 and older, now I'm not saying it's common, but most people think that when they are 65 or above, they're just sitting ducks or waiting to die if they go outside. And I'm here to tell you that's not true. Wear your masks, a lot of, hand washing, but, please do live your life to some degree and be able to get out to breathe some fresh air. But there are people and individuals that are 65 and up that do get coronavirus and do just fine. So just like this 93-year-old muñeca, this, Trump may have very well just as easily had very little symptoms as well, because he has very good health care, very good medical care, and he may have been set up well with a great immune system to fight it.
What about the idea that the third wave is coasting through the world and the country?
It may be, and if it is, and we're in the midst of a third wave, we have to accept that the waves as they come. Hopefully, if the wave's already here and this is the worst of it, great. But I don't know that it is. I think the epidemiologists will and the infectious disease specialists will be looking through all the different strains and seeing which ones are mutating as they always do, so we can kind of figure out where it's at in its course. So hopefully, God willing, we'll be able to handle, and maybe it's getting weaker. Maybe it's going to poop out. We don't know the life cycle of the coronavirus, if it's going to be as smart as the flu. We right now, the infectious disease specialists believe it is, that it's similar or the same as other coronaviruses, and that's a fair assumption. But we don't know, since it's novel, exactly if it's going to behave in the same way as other coronaviruses do, or if there's going to be a kink in the chain that might make it weak so that we can conquer it and maybe be able to eliminate it like we eradicated polio.
Well, Doctor, I have a question from Zacate. Zacate. Thank you, Doctor, for giving your time to the community. My question to you is, how safe is it for students to play sports this year? I did not allow my son to play football this season. Thanks to this show, he understands the reason behind my decision.
Well, thank you. I've heard many communities that have gone either way. Some people are doing bands, some people aren't. Some people are doing team sports, some are not. If you're in a contact sport like football, I mean, the amount of touching that goes on in football and soccer and other contact sports like that, I mean, it's very dangerous in my opinion, and I think you made the right decision. I know it's not easy, and I'm sure that your sons and your daughters, for those of you who made similar decisions, probably fought hard and fought long, because I know the teens are ready to like blow off some steam. And I for all the teens listening, I understand you. We all want to blow off steam. All of us are frustrated by living inside our houses most of the time and not getting out to just kind of feel the world again. But it's for a purpose, and it's not going to be permanent. I don't really believe that the coronavirus is overtaking the world. I don't think this is us just, the new normal that's going to be forever. I do think we're all in a common cause to try to fight the virus so that we can all be able to get back to life as we knew it before coronavirus existed, and hopefully even better. Now we know that we can collaborate well, that people can come together in mass quantities and do great things. Countries can come together and do things with vaccines they didn't realize they could do before, because really this is unprecedented, the amount of collaboration science has done to help this vaccine come together. So it's a tremendous and beautiful thing that we're seeing, and very altruistic for many companies. But as far as contact sports go, like, be really careful, parents. If you are letting your kids into contact sports and you decided like, hey, I'm gonna do it anyway, because my kid's suffering. Maybe you see that some of their mental health is not doing well, and you as a parent said their mental health is more important, make sure that after they get done with that sport for that activity, that they're straight into the showers, they're taking their clothes and putting them straight into the wash, and making sure they're not touching their hands, or anytime they're on the sideline, even and during that sport, that they're washing their hands, not touching their faces, because it's really easy when the sweat gets on your brow to just wipe that face, and that's exactly where coronavirus gets us every time. The eyes, the nose, and the face, whenever you start touching that, and you got something that you just touched another player, there's just always that chance. So we just have to be aware and be careful and just do the best we can. Um, I understand both sides of it, but if I were to say, if you're still a parent that's on the fence, and maybe there's a possibility that your child will be in a sport that's high contact, I would think twice until at least we have the vaccine in hand and we start seeing a good number of the population vaccinated. Once the good number of the population's been vaccinated, God willing, we'll hope that that means that we can come out and play and kind of test the waters and be able to kind of, get back to the things that we used to do. So that's really what the purpose of the vaccine is for. Um, but we'll be coming to know more about the vaccine, because there have been discussions about whether this is going to be a once kind of vaccine to get that, the 2 steps of the one and then 1 3 to 4 weeks later, or is this going to be a seasonal event just like the flu shot? So I don't know that that question's answered yet. I don't know if I've heard that coming down the pike. I don't know if you guys have. I haven't as of yet right now, but there's still a lot of questions out there, a lot of great questions that we still are trying to get answers to that we don't. We definitely have to be patient during this time, because the news is coming out as fast as it can, and we're absorbing it even faster.
Doctor, also, do you know if the hospital doctors are doing contact tracing? Contact tracing?
I know that we're all trying to do our best efforts. Every single one of us are talking to family, saying, hey, if you had somebody that you were in contact with 2 days prior to you getting symptoms, please talk to them, let them know that you were exposed so that they can also quarantine. And isolation is for people that have already gotten the disease, that are symptomatic. Quarantine is for those that are not symptomatic yet, but that have that exposure to maybe not give the virus. And if we can do that, instead of having 2 people, that get that infection, if you can stop just even one, that virus gets tremendously broken down, because you have kind of taken that exponential growth, and you've deteriorated it. So the more we do contact tracing, the better off we'll be. So I know that each one of us in healthcare is really doing our best efforts to continue to learn the epidemiology, the science behind it, what we can do to keep people knowledgeable, because there's still a lot of misconceptions out there right now. Really, truly and surely, there's still a lot of confusion about it. It's not easy, it's why there's so many people working on it. So
What are your thoughts, Doctor, on multiple people in a school building? Can you talk about the risks associated with that? Fairly something, as long as you're spread out, you're going to be okay.
well, the concern on the multiple people within a school building, let's just take a school room, for instance, or a school auditorium. You could be spread out, but remember, in an enclosed space, there is someone. And yes, I do, Michelle, practice manipulation. Thank you for the question. So people in the school building, in that auditorium, that air circulates. That air circulates, and so we're going to want to make sure that we try to minimize it recirculating, because say that one of the students of 10 students in that classroom coughs, then that starts circulating through the air, and that cough continues to go. Now, something that we're looking at as we're finishing construction with our clinic at True Health Family Clinic, is we're making sure to have items that are resistant and antiviral type lighting to help coronavirus get shut down before it starts, that will happen regularly, and negative pressure rooms that will help. But who knows, because our school systems, they're already stretched thin. Who knows if the funding will be there for us to have that kind of equipment safety wise for infection control in our school systems and in our school buildings. Well, I'd love to say, hey, let's donate a bunch of, lights and filters and systems to do it. I mean, it still takes quite a bit of money. And while we can help some fundraising to some degree, it's still quite a bit of dollars. So we do need to be mindful of being indoors for longer periods of time, minimize how many students are in that room, and open those windows when we can often, and really try to clean those desks. All the students need to be cleaning their desks, wearing their masks, washing hands regularly. And I know the teachers are doing tremendously wonderful jobs, doing the best that they can, but yeah, there's still the danger there. But the vaccine is coming soon, so that's the excitement that I think we're all waiting for, and I hope that this will give us the response that we've all been praying for to really be able to eradicate coronavirus in general.
Well, one of the things I think that a lot of individuals have had concerns with is, actually going back onto campus here in Brownsville. To this day, Dr. Saveda, our administration and our board has yet to have a meeting where they actually invite the individuals on the frontline staff to come in and share, their expertise. And it gets to a point where it becomes just very, very frustrating for us in the community. It gets to the point where it gets frustrating because we start to lose trust in the individuals that are making the decisions that ultimately affect the health, the well-being, livelihood, and the life of a lot of our individuals. We were talking about not, giving us accurate information, and making decisions one day and switch them to the other. One of the things that the school district here had neglected to inform us that we had 11 deaths due to coronavirus, COVID-19, at the district. 11 deaths. And the only reason we found out was they finally had to admit it to TEA in order to submit for an extra waiver in order to phase the coming back onto campus from students. And it's just very, very disheartening. And I make mention of that because in any profession, especially with the medical profession, as you are in, doc, numbers are important. Keeping data is important. Keeping notes. You have medical records that by law you must keep. You must keep secure, but you must keep. And it seems that the accountability factor in regards to transparency and to stewardship with the district is really non-existent. What recommendation would you give to administration in regards to moving forward if we had the option, of everyone that wanted to stay at home to stay at home, would that be a best choice for individuals?
As much as I'd like to say that it's the best choice, I've seen pros and cons of both. And just for instance, in the school system in Florida, where my family and my sister are from, unfortunately, the school system broke down because of the fact that I don't believe the technology was as good as it could have been. And also the teachers, either they weren't trained enough or they just, took the opportunity and they didn't, connect with the children, and they didn't teach enough. So the children really suffered. So for some school systems, and that's why it's so individualistic, that it's not always the right thing for every school system to say, hey, let's have everybody stay at home. However, if your school system is set up well with ability to have electronic access, and you can get your children to learn and access Wi-Fi, the internet with computers, absolutely. That is, without a doubt, the best way to be able to keep your children safe is to keep them more so at home. They do get a good education. They still get activities. They're still getting PE. I mean, I was just visiting with a friend that had a sick child with her, and I agreed to go visit with her child to see her, and they were made to do PE every day. Like they did, it was not compulsory. They had to do it because they all need the activity, and they need the playtime because it's that important. So they're still getting quality education from home. So I know some parents are like, man, maybe my kid's missing on something. I've seen plenty of parents. My nurse included, her child was doing math and doing reading and still engaged in doing her schoolwork in her school book. And yes, it was via monitor. It wasn't person to person like we're used to. And no, she wasn't right next to her friends as she would typically be, but she still was able to do her schoolwork and learn to do the activities that she would normally do, which is really some of the most important aspects of being at school. Yes, we want the socialization and we want the camaraderie and the time and the interactions and whatnot, and we'll get back there. But right now, with where the coronavirus is at, we do have to be careful, and I do think that would be the best option if that school system is set up to be able to achieve that kind of technology experience. Because for those that aren't, it's tragic. It's really difficult to get learning without some good technology.
Doctor, one thing that I feel that we have been overlooking is the mental health of employees and students. What do you recommend? Should we go out for walks? What can be done to be able to combat these challenges that we are facing by being more indoors and having less social interactions with others for our mental health?
Such a beautiful question. I can appreciate this so deeply. I cannot tell you, and I made a joke about this, but it's to some degree too, like that after the coronavirus, we have some form of post traumatic stress disorder. But I have seen so many individuals that have not been anxious that are currently anxious or depressed or both, or things that people, just their psychiatric disorders literally came out of the woodwork, unfortunately, because this pandemic just literally amplified everything. So I encourage each and every one of you, if you haven't been able to reach out because of whatever reason, please do reach out to a friend. Like Frankie said, go for walks. Don't think that just because you have a roof over your head that makes you safe from coronavirus. It's airborne. We breathe the air. So also try not to think that it's in everything, because it's not, because I think that's where all of us were towards the beginning, because we were like, well, where can we touch? Where can we be? Where it's going to be safe? So many of us feel like our safe spot is at home. And unfortunately, that's where coronavirus is attacking, is in our homes. But do get out, do go for walks, not in groups, but go out, solo or maybe with one family member. Go for bike rides, let the wind blow through your hair like a kid again. Play on a trampoline. Whatever you can, go to the beach and walk next to the water, walk your dog there. There's a lot of different ways to reconnect with nature, to get that exercise. It releases some amazing endorphins. Those are very anti-anxiety, antidepressive for us, and very therapeutic in natural ways. That is way better than any medicine I could ever give. So, please do get your exercise in. Meditation, if you can't exercise, if you're a person that's confined to a chair or just can't for pain reasons, you can do chair stretching, yoga. There's just a lot of things that can be done. So please do get those activities in. They're so very important to our mental health. And I always tell my patients that this here is the motherboard, our brain. So if this goes down, then everything else goes down, and it's a very true statement, because everybody thinks it's our heart, and while the heart's the pump, the brain is the motherboard of our system. So we do have to be careful to protect it and protect our peace. For those who watch Trent Shelton, it's one of my favorite guys. He's pretty awesome. So.
Dr. At what rate and within what time frame is herd immunity accomplished once the vaccine regimen is implemented?
I am not sure. I do think it takes time. I believe it's usually when, I want to say it's 2/3 of the population, or maybe 3/4. I want to say between 2/3 3/4 is im- immunized or infected. So in this case, it's a vaccination, but for infection rates, we saw in the beginning when the virus was hitting for how infectivity could be. But we usually, when you get 2/3 to 3/4 of the way, then the rest, it's harder to get them to need it because everybody else around them typically is protected, and there's smaller pockets of people that aren't immunized, that maybe because everybody else is around them is immunized, they don't need it really that much because they're not going to really get it.
Doctor, what do you think about the spray that football players are going to get sprayed with to disinfect the team? I forgot the name of the machine. I think it's Viro Max, Viro Vitro Clean or something. You know which machine I'm referring to, right?
I know. I've heard about the machine. I was like, they're still gonna do a contact sport, and you cannot touch everyone's surfaces that they have on their body. And I mean, when you play football, you get down and dirty. You get into places. I'm sure, like the football players, the pro guys, have some stories that we would probably cringe at. Where they got attacked or touched or hurt. So it could be anywhere. So who knows? But I don't think that a machine that sprays a disinfectant is going to be complete unless you can saturate in it for a few minutes and soak. But I highly doubt just doing a quick spray like at a car wash is gonna be able to really do it. I mean, they're trying their best. I mean, they're still trying to get the Pro Bowl players to do their season, and college ball as well. I know is that's some are choosing yes, some are no, but it's hard because we're trying to figure out where is the line and how we're gonna have a typical season when it's not really that typical right now.
Wait, I got a couple more. Is it necessary to disinfect everything we buy still? I heard sometimes vaccines see that transmission is more likely when interacting with people, not with touchy surfaces.
Rolanda, you are very, very correct. I remember hearing that way back when too, and I remember being concerned about whether we should be buying off of Amazon or not because the surfaces have a certain potential for holding and harboring the coronavirus for a few days. But yes, it's most commonly spread from person to person, from interactions, from talking, from speaking, from touching. But yes, that's where we get it most of the time. So really, we're just spreading it from person to person most of all. So those services, while it's not a zero, it's not as common as from getting it from person to person. So I would say the personal interactions that we have are way more important to be cautious of than anything else.
The viralizer is the name of it. I knew what.
Viralizer, okay.
I'm going to a gunfight with a knife. Thank you for your help information. Thank you. Uh, and we have been mentioning finances, and we're going to touch a little bit on what's happening tomorrow and next Monday. It's in regards to the upcoming trial. Um, y'all want to stick around?
Sure, sure, why not?
Awesome. As tomorrow, guys, and I'll share this again. We individuals were called in to come in to prepare the testimony that's going to be used against Sylvia Atkinson. As you saw on my page, Channel 5 already announced that on Monday, Sylvia Atkinson will be going on trial for taking bribe from an undercover federal agent. With that said, I will say that I was, as I had mentioned, I had been called in to testify. I was subpoenaed by the federal government to testify. I have been let go. My testimony is no longer required. I did find out, confirmed this weekend, and confirmed it today. I will not be required to testify. Now, this could be for a couple of reasons. It could be that Sylvia is talking to the feds more now and, opening up in regards to what's going on. Or they've decided to go a different route in regards to the way that they're going to prosecute this case. I do know for a fact that other board members have not been let go, and they will be appearing tomorrow in order to share their, to share their story of what they're going to be testifying on Monday. Now, I have a theory, but again, I don't know. I don't want to share my theories. I usually do my best to try and share facts. I have my theories, and if it's okay with you, I'll share with you what my theories are. My theories are that for a long time we have heard that there have been co-defendants, conspirators, co-conspirators in regards to a lot of the mysteries going on in the district, guys. I believe, cannot confirm any facts, that tomorrow we will learn who the co-conspirators are. And by that I mean the individuals that were called in. Some of them will find out uh, who the co-defendants are as well, and not necessarily in this case, because I think that this is a solid case. What I'm referring to is the other upcoming indictments that are coming along the pipeline. Because if anyone thinks that this is the only indictment against Sylvia Atkinson and the Legion of Doom out there in regards to this corrupt board, is very, very mistaken. There is too much at risk. You're talking about a $600 million a year budget, something that has been bleeded, gutted for far too long for these corrupt individuals to let go from one point to another. Guys, when you see in movies, what you hear about that happens in New York City, uh, a lot of the times is with companies and organizations that have a smaller budget than BISD. So, again, anyone out there that doesn't believe that BISD is a telenovela and that I could probably make a boohoo's of cash if I took a couple of months off and wrote a damn book, then you got another thing coming in the next upcoming weeks. Because it is my theory that tomorrow we'll start to learn who else is involved in the upcoming indictments, and there'll be a little bit more clarity in regards to the participation of the individuals that are currently sitting in this board, and the board attorney in regards to a lot of decision-making processes that place a lot of our individuals here in the community's life in danger, and have also neglected in regards to the resources that could have come our way. Frankie, do you have a theory in regards to what's going to happen in the next couple of 8 days?
I don't feel like Dr. Sylvia Atkinson is cooperating with the federal government. I do anticipate her case going to a federal jury trial, which is set to begin Monday, October the 26th. It will be televised on Zoom, if I'm not mistaken. It will be the trial of the century. The world will be watching. I have been getting emails. I've been getting word that tomorrow there will be several arrests in the. It's not just one or two. It's several. Why Tuesday? I don't know. I do anticipate the federal government actually finally painting us a bigger picture. We what we do know about this case is that it is a big web that leads to more and more cases. You have to understand that this individual had her hands in TSC in the city of Brownsville,
Cameron County,
possibly Cameron County, and we don't know how far
County.
entrenched she was.
Well, Frankie, I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to disagree with you partially, and I'll say why I'm going to disagree. I think that one of the reasons why, because I agree with you, I think that there are going to be indictments handed out tomorrow on Tuesday. And I believe this because of the individuals that have been called in, and a lot of the information that's going to be divulged to a lot of the individuals who are going to be called in to testify. With that said, the reason why I believe, and again, I'll bet you a piece on this, to see who's right and who's wrong. The reason that I think that the indictments are going to come out tomorrow, Frankie, is because she's actually giving them some information, and a lot of the information that's going to be divulged to a lot of the individuals who are going to be called in to testify. With that said, the reason why I believe, and again, I'll bet you a piece on this, to see who's right and who's wrong. The reason that I think that the indictments are going to come out tomorrow, Frankie, is because she's actually giving them some information, in order to lessen the amount of years that she's going to have to serve. So, in that respect, I think she's cooperating. I mean, she's still going to trial. There's no doubt about that. I mean, the jury was selected on Friday. This past Friday, the jury was selected. So she's going before a jury trial. There's no doubt about that. That is my only thing that I think that they are going to they are going to lessen the amount of years because of the information that she's starting to share already. Where a lot of the individuals won't have to go and share their testimony in regards to her misdoings. Case in point, Erasmo Castro is not going tomorrow.
I disagree with you because they want it all. They don't just want a little snippet. If that's the case, if she's cooperating, she better be telling the truth and not just about something small. The feds go for big.
Yes,
You know, they arrested a board member for $500 million, a Fortune 500 company for federal funds. This is huge.
huge.
The federal government is not looking for nickels and dimes. Cases.
Case, Frankie.
So I disagree with you in the sense that she's cooperating, but she's still going to trial. If she's telling the truth, if she leads to information, they will cut her a sweet deal, or they will cut her a deal. What that entails, how many years this reduces, I don't know. As of right now, she's facing over 40 years. We have heard that there are more indictments coming from other cases that potential witnesses are finally opening up for fear of them possibly being indicted or of protected witnesses from the federal government. So this is for all the marbles. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is how I analyze Dr. Sylvia Atkinson. Her back's against the corner. To me, what's 40 years compared to 4? The embarrassment is already there. You have to understand, this individual prided herself in having the title of a doctor of education. She's not going to cooperate. By admitting guilt, her career is over. They will take away her title. She will not be able to work. Now, unless she's going to give up the president of the United States, something that they will get her off scot-free. I don't anticipate that.
No. And I don't mean that she's going to cut a deal in order to go free. She's going to do time. There's no doubt in my mind. No doubt she's going to do time. It's the amount of time now that's the chip on the table. Going back to one of her gambling terms, it's the chip on the table. Do you really want to bet 45 years versus 4 to 5 years? Come on.
Dr. Erasmo.
Hi, thank you. Finally.
No, I'm referring to Dr. Teresa, not you. Not you. Hey, the logical thing, the more reasonable thing would be to come clean. Let me work. Let me have my attorneys work out the best deal possible for myself, for my family. She's not your typical person.
No, she's not.
She's not your typical
normal person.
And I hate to say this, but I think she's delusional. I think she is so caught up in this that she in her mind thinks that she's going to beat the rap. And maybe, I don't know. I believe in the judicial system, innocent until proven guilty. If she wants her chance at having her peers decide her fate, by all means. That's the beauty of living in a democratic society. But how can anybody go against a recording? How could anybody say that they did not take marked bills from an undercover federal agent? It's going to be hard for her to convince a jury that either she was a consultant, that this was not a bribe, and how are you going to get by on voting on something that you benefit from? Again, for a typical person, a rational person, and that's no jab at her. I think this woman is brilliant. This woman has a mind like no other, but she's caught up in that. her defense is so high in her mind that she says, "I'm gonna beat it."
Well, let me compare something to it, Frank. That's we'll let you chime in on this. I, I think it's partially a mental issue, and I'll tell you why. Recently, we had the case of the police officer, and a lot less amount of money, but you're talking about a police officer, a decorated police officer that a city commissioner even made a proclamation for, you know, went out there, and she was going from one department store to another department store to shoplift or to steal $43 worth of merchandise. And then, when was detained, pulls out the badge and says, "Hey, well, I'm a police officer." It's kind of like an illness with them. Like they can't stop. It's never enough. This time around, I'm going to steal a pen, or I'm going to steal this aroma thing that my grandnephew made. The
Mhm.
carrot smells good. It's like they cannot stop. Have you heard of anything like that? You just cannot stop. You have to steal, steal, steal.
Yes, I have heard of that. It's called kleptomaniac. Winona Ryder is the famous person that's known for that. Where Winona Ryder at the time had just a ton of money. I mean, she made a bunch of movies at that point, but for some reason, like the need to get something, and I don't think it was like to get something for nothing. It was just like it was like a buried treasure or something, something that seemed highly unattainable or forbidden for you to get. And I think that is the essence of perhaps what Sylvia Atkinson is really doing, is that she is tried to deceive a lot of people. Maybe a front woman for and maybe she's just again the front woman for people that are much bigger than her, that are bigger fish. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, and we're going to see a lot of people going down. That's fairly scary. But if
Hillary.
you are absolutely right, if the federal government is coming after you, know that the case that they have against you is usually like airtight, and you better hope that you have some amazing lawyers, because the likelihood that you went against the federal government because they got a ton of money is fairly low. Not that you can never, but it's very, very low. I'm sure that we could probably pull statistics out on how many people lose from the federal government. I'm sure it's most of us.
Well, let me share something with you, Dr. Reda. And they came after me. Uh, the district did when I was sitting on the board. They came after me, and I felt that. I felt the entire force of a $600 million budget literally coming after me, and with everything they had, with their attorneys, with their ultimate resources, unlimited resources. So it's kind of like poetic justice that now the supreme unlimited resources are coming at against her because she used everything the district had. I mean, she used the police force that the district had. She used the attorneys to attack myself, to attack my family, and now it's kind of like poetic justice because now the ultimate individuals with the unlimited resources, which is the federal government. I mean, they can hire private investigators. They can hire everything. They can hire people, have people follow her every single day of her life, record every single thing she's ever uh, uh, said on the phone via text messages, which we found out as there are plenty. So it's kind of like kind of awesome that it's
Yeah.
happening. It's kind
Yeah.
of awesome. And it's a one of the things I've said, and again, that's why this race that we're running right now is so very important. But I agree with Kim. She has a God complex. She does have a God complex. She thinks that she's untouchable. That there's nothing that she can. She has stolen from every school community that she has ever worked for. Yes, she's like that. But Brownsville Police Department officer that went from Target to Walmart, and just wanted to take from each and every one of them. And at the end of the day, just show my badge. I'm entitled to do it. and that's what she believes. She believes that she's entitled to take the money that belongs to our students and to our staff and pocket the resources of our community. Well, Monday is D-Day, and I am so excited, so happy, so exhilarated. I'm ecstatic too. So everyone out there that has ever been complicit with her in any misdoing, maybe Drew Brown, maybe Baltasar Salazar, maybe some elected officials from uh, TSC Board of Trustees, maybe some individuals at the city, maybe some individuals at the county. Guys, I don't know how y'all gonna sleep tonight. I just don't know how many candidates that are running for office even now are going to sleep okay, knowing that possibly tomorrow, after the testimony of the individuals that have been called in to share their testimony, what if tomorrow is your indictment day? Well, I know one thing. I never took a dime, never took a penny. So I'll be watching from the sidelines and cheering the federal government on every step of the way. Frankie?
Once again, the trial of the century. Get your popcorn ready. We have heard time and time again how there's bigger fish throughout the testimony that we will be hearing from different protected witnesses from the federal government, individuals that we probably know, that we probably see in our daily lives, that we see on the TV, that we see on Facebook. Many politicians, for whatever reason, have been very quiet lately. Throughout this election cycle, it's been very different. It's been due to COVID and other things, but the people that you would think would be active aren't so active. Everybody's kind of taking a back seat because they know that this day is coming. And I don't know, what kind of makes me scratch my head is, did the government purposely set this trial during early voting? Is there again, the federal government is very calculated. Everything that they do, they has its purpose. This has been going on, according to the indictment, this has been going on since 2012, 2013, 2014. This has been going on for years. And we've always been hearing, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And we're always like, hey, they take forever. They walk like a snail, but they're working. They're working. And how doctor said, whenever they have a case, it's airtight. And I have nothing but respect for her attorneys. They are two of the very best. They have been in and out of many high-profile cases. They have seen it all. So for them to, I'm sure, and this is just my opinion, I'm sure they said, let's take a deal. Let's work. I think it's their client that's not wanting to budge. Because again, for her, it's the ultimate disgrace. Admitting that she was wrong, admitting that she did something against the rules. And again, this is just me. What's 4 years compared to 45? To us, it'd be like, I'll take it.
In fact,
where do I sign? But again, you have an individual who prided herself in being up here. What's going to happen whenever they take that away? She's going to be peasants like us. And that's something, or peasants like me. I'm sorry. Peasants like me. I meant no disrespect. Peasants like myself, that they can't live with that. So again, we'll see where how the cookie shapes out. But no more crumbs for BISD. Again, a lot of attention is going to be riding into this trial. I'm sure the federal government has its reason for it. But again, to all the voters out there, to all those employees who have felt the wrath of this person, judgment is coming. There's no need to be to fear anymore. Everything that you have felt is going to come back. That's karma. I do believe we get what we give. And for this individual, her day's coming, whether for good or bad. We'll let the jury decide. So get your popcorn ready.
Let me tell you, she's going to fry, and I've been saying it for months, guys. And I hate to say it, but I'll say it again. I've been telling you, I told you so. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited because justice will be served, and justice will be served. We're going to start to find out where exactly the federal government's case is going, and it's something that we've been really anxious for, guys. Really, really anxious for, because I'm glad that, I'm going to say that a lot more people, during this pandemic, they started to open their eyes about a lot of the misdoings at the district. But guys, we are at a point right now in the middle of early voting, guys, to really turn this ship around in all respects. It is time to bring back the school board to serve the community and not the school board expected to be the other way around. We have an opportunity before us, guys, and to make sure that the individuals at the district who have placed the health, the well-being, the livelihood, and the life of our staff in peril, in danger, so that they, have to answer to a lot of the misdoings that they've done. Look, guys, I'm tired. I'm tired, and I share my day with you. I've been working all day long. I mean, I'm brown not because I'm Mexican. I'm brown because I've been on this outside in the sun like a crazy man. And you see me asleep on the chair thanks to Frankie. And I'm tired, guys. But my worst moment today happened 3 hours ago when I got a call from a teacher who had just quit her job.
Hmm.
Quit her job, and in tears because she just can't deal with the stress anymore. Underlying conditions. Her family members, her children have special needs. Cannot afford to lose her job, but is scared about her health, her well-being, her life, and the life of her kids. That for me is exhausting, and it's exhausting because it should not be happening. It should not be happening. We have an administration. We have a current, and you heard it last night from Jimena. We have a school board that will not listen to the community. Will not listen to the community. So, guys, I don't care how many DWIs that Erasmo Castro has. I only have one. I don't care how many times, how many upcoming trials some individuals may have. I don't care. You will never compare that to the hurt that Sylvia Atkinson, Minerva Peña, Philip Cowan, Little Eddie, and Sylvia Atkinson's tools, which include Denise Garza and Daniela Lopez Valdez, the damage that they can do to our community. And I challenge anyone to spend an hour speaking to a teacher who just quit her job. It's draining, man. It's draining, and it's draining because you want to empathize with them. And I say, please hold on. Wait till November the 3rd. I swear things will change. But Dr. Sareda, our people are anxiety ridden. And you know what, Dr. Sareda, it's something that we were talking before. And part of the problem is there's no real leadership. There's no direction. They don't want to listen to you, Dr. Sareda. You experience that. They don't want to listen to you. They don't want to listen to the other medical staff, to the other scientists. They don't. They just want to make decisions, and then 2, 3 days later, having changed the decisions, and then 3, 4 days after that, going back to the first one, and then everyone's just being dragged back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They do not know what's going on, and it's causing individuals to get sick. Our staff is has never been on so much anxiety medication as they are now, and individuals are opting to quit their job. No, Saveta, I'll share something with you, and I've shared with Frankie. I don't think I've stated it here. I, I've spoken to teachers that wanted to take their life.
Oh, it's so sad.
Take their life. And I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I just want to reach out. I mean, that really saddens me, Erasmo, Frankie, to hear that our teacher community. I mean, I've shared this before, but everything I am, I owe to a teacher. Everything I am, I come from a line of teachers. My grandfather was a teacher. My mother's a teacher. I mean, I literally, I have so much appreciation for teachers because I know that each of you work hard. And from the bottom of my heart, all the teachers that teach my sons, the children in this community in Brownsville and Los Fresnos and Port Isabel, we love you guys. We want you guys to be in our communities teaching our children. We probably know more than ever that many of us parents are inadequate teachers to our children because there's just some people that are gifted enough to know how to teach, and there's others that we just don't understand it. So, but when I hear that a teacher feels so desperate, so out of control that they can't imagine continuing with life because things are so strained that there's no other choice. It's completely sad. So if that's you, if you're listening, you're a teacher here, I implore you, reach out to your primary care doctor, to your brother, your sister, a family member, a friend, the national crisis line, the national suicide crisis line. We have local ones, and tropical behavioral health is a very good local line. If you feel like that, you can get help, if that's you. And there's many circumstances, that don't need to escalate, but we want to make sure that our teachers are okay, just like I want to make sure the kids and the parents are okay. Teachers are people too. You guys are really an integral part of how you make up our future. Our children are our future. We cannot be anything if we don't have children to help bring up the future generations behind us. So teachers are absolutely part of that. So please, if you feel like you need to quit your job, it may need to happen. I don't know specific situations, but don't let a moment go by without reaching out to somebody, someone, because
Well,
that's hard.
I'm going to say this again, folks, and to individuals that work at the district, teachers, staff members, please be patient. Please be patient. Please do everything that you can to keep yourself safe. Guys, there's hope. And as self-serving as this may sound, there's hope. Just wait. Give me 15 more days. That's all I'm asking. Give me 15 more days and work this campaign with us. Just give me 15 days. Give me 15 days of hustle, 15 days of phone calls, 15 days of text. Give me 15 days of taking people out there. That's all I'm asking. That's all you have to do. Give me 15 days and I will give you 4 years. 4 years, guys. And everything changes. Everything changes the night that we're sworn in. That's all I'm asking. But you have to work it because I'm exhausted. You're exhausted. And they don't care. They do not care. All Minerva cares about, all Philip cares about, all little Eddie care about is taking that seat. The only thing Danielle cares about, the only thing that Denise cares about is to serve their master, to get more contracts, get more money. So give me 15 days. That's all I ask. 15 days. And everything changes. It's your job now. Um, Dr. Saavedra, they've been mentioning the West Nile virus, that there have been 3 cases in Hidalgo County. Have you heard of those? Is there anything that needs to be done? How will this affect our coronavirus situation if we do have a spread of West Nile virus also?
From my memory of West Nile, I believe it's a mosquito-borne disease, but I have to research it further in order to know exactly the implications. It is concerning given the pandemic. I mean, any outbreak of a another virus, that could be potentially damaging, is concerning, especially ones that tend to be a little bit more robust in their symptoms and their effects on our bodies. So we do need to be careful. So I know that there was a question they want to next time I come on the show for me to talk about the Nile virus. So I'll come prepared to chat about that and give a little bit more robust talk about it. But yes, it is concerning and we do need to be careful. I know we want to be hanging out with our friends, go traveling, go visit people in other cities, counties, including Hidalgo, but do be aware that all of our choices do come with a certain amount of risk. So wash those hands, make sure that you're wearing your masks and do the best you can to socially distance as we always have been saying this whole time.
Thank you. Dr. Saavedra, last words?
I just wanted to thank everybody, teachers, students, community members for letting me be on the show so far. I absolutely adore it. I love Frankie and Erasmo. I love people that stand for truth, people that stand for our community, that are willing to stand up and do the right things, to say things that are hard to say when most people would be scared to say it. I think it takes quite a bit of courage, a lot of guts, a lot of tenacity too, especially through getting through people shutting the doors in your face. And I'm sure both of them have gotten quite a bit of people that have shoved the door in their face. But when you have conviction, when you have this true belief. And I can absolutely tell that Frankie and Erasmo, they love what they do. They love our community. They love our teachers. They love our children. They really want the best for them, and they just have a passion for it. And those are the people you want on your team. Those are absolutely the people you always want on your team, are the people that are going to go to bat for you when the going gets tough. And right now that it's tough, it's really tough. So I appreciate people like the two of you in our community that are fighting that good fight, that are standing up against injustice, and people that aren't doing the right things, that are spreading lies and taking bribes. I enjoy, as always, to be on the show. I love to be on it again. True Health Family Clinic coming to you in a couple of weeks, as hopefully, God willing, Erasmo Castro and Frankie Olivo are getting initiated. I don't know if initiated, or is it, what's the word for it? Into the BISD Board of Trustees. God willing, we'll pray for them and for other individuals that will help collaborate well with the team, so that we can get some good change and see our children flourish and thrive, and our community thrive again, because that's what we really need. We need a community of people that are able to get through and to thrive and to flourish and to be able to be integral part of the society.
Amen. Thank you, Dr. Saavedra.
Thank you.
Thank your words. Frankie.
Thank you, Dr. Savannah. It's always a pleasure to have you on. And thank you so much for your kind words. It means a lot. Thank you so much, Doctor. Day 7, early voting. Tomorrow will be day 8, Tuesday. We invite each and every one of our friends. If you haven't done so, please vote. As of right now, for BISD, I believe there's 16,000 people that have voted, which is amazing. High numbers compared to 2016. This just goes to show that our community is fed up. For far too long. I've said it over and over again. For far too long, individuals have used our seat as a community on that school board for their own enrichment, for their own political gain. November the 3rd, that stops. We are very confident in this election. We have seen our community come together through this platform, and we've had enough. This trial, for whatever reason, is in the middle of the election, and that says a lot for our teachers, for our employees, for our parents. Be patient with us. We ask for 2 more weeks. We are confident that once November the 3rd comes, once we get sworn in, everything's going to change. No more retaliation. Teachers, no more need. There will be no more need to be on campuses when it's not safe. I will be an advocate. I continue to be an advocate to have somebody like Dr. Teresa Saavedra, Dr. Eder Hernandez, Dr. Madi, Dr. Mario Cerdan, Dr. Zamir, individuals, local individuals who are passionate about what they do, so they can give us suggestions, recommendations on how to proceed or what protocols we should have on returning back. Is it scientifically safe? Should we be precautious? That is something that will do on that board. Um, I'm so confident, and I'm so thankful once again to our community. Day in and day out throughout this early voting has been like a little party. We have not have a need had a need for food. We had a food in abundance. We have been overly hydrated with all the Cokes, Gatorades, waters, candies, desserts. It's very humbling whenever your community wants to see you uh, make sure that you have food in your belly. We're out there day in and day out, from sunrise to sundown, because we want our community to know and be convinced that whenever you vote for us, you're making the right choice. We will be advocates for our community. We will use our platform to make sure that our community is informed. I think that is what we need on the Browns Independent School Board. Thank you so much again, guys, for your love and your patience. We'll be out there. If you haven't voted already, please do so. Um, let's um, let's change BISD together, guys. Thank you so much.
Mike, very quickly, I ain't planning to change anytime soon. Guys, let me say this, that I also want to thank everyone out there in the community. I mean, really, guys, the amount of food that you're sending to the camp, the amount of water, Gatorades, drinks, and the desserts is really amazing. Thank you, everyone that has taken face coverings, taken a bunch of stuff out there. I mean, it's greatly, greatly appreciated. Keep it coming. Keep it coming because, and I'm not saying it because I'm not saying it because we need to have all that food out there. I'm saying it because it motivates us to see you stop by and drop off anything. And a friend of mine said, "Well, I brought some day old bread." They mentioned this, and I was excited about it, because first of all, there's nothing wrong with day old bread, but just that they took their time to go get something and bring it really is motivating. So I'm going to continue to encourage you to please continue to send food, continue to take water, continue to take anything and everything you can, not for anything other than it really does help. Uh, Pass by if you can. If you can't bring food, just drive by and yell or something, honk at something, and call out the names, because it does inspire. It does help. Because let me tell you, it is exhausting, but we're going to continue to do it. We're going to continue to fight for you all out there, and because we are going to be your cheerleaders as you do your part in bringing other individuals in to vote. Um, so tomorrow is Wear Pink Day. And again, guys, as much as little Eddie and all those other people want to make fun of, oh, why are they doing Spirit Week? We do it because we can, and we're going to make this as fun as possible. Today we had Superhero Day, and it was pretty cool, man. It was pretty cool. Tomorrow we had people in the community come up and drop off food. They were wearing their superhero gear to take pictures, man. And I love that. So tomorrow, folks, even if you don't come out to the polls tomorrow, Wear pink and send me your pictures. Wear pink, wear a pink cap, wear a pink ribbon, wear a pink shirt, wear pink pants if you have them, wear pink shoes. Wear pink. Tomorrow is Pink Day, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and wear pink. Guys, continue to work it. It's the ball's in your court. You have the baton. Run with it. Continue to work this campaign, and together we can bring about the change that this community desperately needs and really hungers and thirsts for. Guys, be good to each other, and please, please, please continue to be good to me. God bless.